Okay, now that we have got rid of example 1, we're going to take a look at example 2. This is a little game that I threw together that we should be able to shoot the boss and have to shoot it several times before we can win the game. Okay, for instance, if we take a look at this, we're setting -1. It starts with 50, so that means I ought to be able to hit it 5 times, right? But if you've played it already, you know that we can only hit it once, and it's not going to work anymore. So how do we resolve this? Okay. See, I win on the first one. Not very good. Well, maybe good if you're the player, but it's not what we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit there and take a look at what we could possibly have done wrong. Okay. Now the first thing you should always do is look at your logic. Okay. So if we go into this one, we're going to look at the boss object, and it is starting at 50. Okay. And let's take a look at what we're doing. We're sitting here and we're destroying the instance, we're playing the sound, we're setting the variable, and then here's our if boss health is equal to 0, then I'm going to go ahead and do all this stuff, right? Okay. So what's happening? I'm hitting it, the instance is being destroyed, but then notice it's doing these things. Anytime you're asking a question, and that's what this octagon shaped item is, and you find those under the control. So I'm testing a variable is what I'm doing. So if that variable is equal to them, so anytime I test that, remember it only goes through the next action. So this is the only one that if that decision is related to. So for us to actually solve this, we have to use also on the control tab these things called the blocks, the start and begin blocks. Because if we do this now what we're saying is if this is true, do everything in the block. Okay. Now if I take those away again, what this is saying to begin with is if this is true, do this statement, but do these every time this event happens. Okay. We call this an if-then problem, okay? Or an if-then idiosyncrasy is another term it's used. So now if we do this, we can go ahead and start it, and we should see that we should be able to win the game, but not until we've hit it 5 times, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's perfect, okay? So one of the first things to do is when you have a collision of something and you're or anything and you're testing a variable, okay? Testing a variable or even testing any of these questions up here, okay? Any of those. Remember that any of these question type of events, it's only going to do the next action unless you put all those actions into a block. Now, we could have probably gone and seen through the debugging tool what was going on, but we're going to take a look at a similar game like this for debugging example 3. Okay, so pay attention to this if-then idiosyncrasy because that will catch you sometimes. Okay.